Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, folks, good morning. Sit up and pay attention. This is why I go to yoga and I meditate to get my mind right. The market is absolutely going to crash. And you're going to find out why during this debrief. I was going to like do a 10-minute thing and say it's all about Jerome later in the afternoon. Doesn't matter at this point. Actually, the more Jerome, the worse it's going to get. So sit up and pay attention. Got all my same stuff, haven't added anything. I got to actually move some money over because I'm buying a shitload of disaster puts. So everything that I've had on this week, all my short calls, looks like they're all going to come in for max profit. I might even start rolling some down because this is going to happen. So again, in the stillness of my hot yoga this morning, actually I was about to die. The market is absolutely going to implode. It's going to be ugly. And I think it's fantastic because Joe Biden's going to get tarred with it. Absolutely not. Let me fix that. Under 4 years of Trump, every time the market had a rip your face off rally, it was Barack Hussein Obama's stock market. Remember towards the end, like the third year of the Trump presidency, Obama was running around going, I'm responsible for this stock market. All right. So any crash under Joe Biden is clearly going to be Donald Trump's fault. But we are absolutely going to see a 20% implosion in the stock market. I guarantee you. And it's going to happen soon. Here we go. Stay with me. I actually ripped up all my debrief notes because this is the only thing that matters. How many times have I drawn this? The stock market's doing this or has done this since this time last year, since the bottom of the market where we sat. Oh my God, this is funny. We sat in a Thursday debrief. A weekly jobless claims number came out. The market had done this, bounced a little bit and did this. And I'm like, what did I say we're going to do? We're going to W. We're going to go up and then we're going to smash. What happened that Thursday morning? 6 million Americans. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to buy a bunch of puts pre-market, or I'm sorry, on the S&P, just getting ready to go nuts. And that's when Jerome Powell dropped his nuke. And I'm like, done, bullish, never look back. And we never did. So that's what I got wrong, but I fixed it in the blink of an eye. That's what we can do as options traders. What has happened since this time last year? This. What has happened to the economy? and the macroeconomic data. Oh, folks, on cocktail math, talking to one of my buddies late last night, 50 million Americans are out of work. This will be in my book. The macroeconomic data have done that. How many times in the past year have I reminded you, me, us, the stock market ain't the economy? How many times have I said the delta between the stock market and the economy have to meet? The two lines on this chart, it's a fact that they have to meet. How many times have I said math will matter? Math is going to matter. When those two lines must meet, it is a smash. It is ugly. Stock market, economy, this gap has to fill. Markets don't go up forever. Math matters. Also, you ready for this? What do markets do? We covered this last week, looking at MGM and the airlines and everything like that. I'm like, the reopening trade, right? It's already happened. Markets look where? Forward. They are all the way into 2025 type of crap. So the rally, the rip your face off rally for the past year, from last March to today, was based on what? We're going to get out of this. We're going to get vaccines. Everything's going to reopen. We're all going to be fine. That might be the case. But that rally, ladies and gentlemen, has already happened. It's over with. I'm calling it today. The economy, ladies and gentlemen, sucks. We laughed at Target earnings the other day. We did great last quarter. Well, how are you going to do looking forward? We're not going to talk about that. COVID's killing everybody. What? The market is going to crash because the economy sucks. Jerome Powell, ladies and gentlemen, is why I put the Fred Sanford over there. The economy is catching up to the stock market. If Jerome Powell announces today, more twist, we're doing the twister, we're doing quantitative easing, whatever the hell he wants to call it, him buying bonds or selling them and buying them to try and manipulate the markets again. So he's over here. The great and wonderful Oz is behind this curtain, buying bonds and shit like that, trying to keep this, well, not to keep the market up with, because that's not in his charter. I know it's not. Full employment and inflation are. But even over in the Max Afterburner group, it's like, well, shit, why didn't we hear something from the Fred pre-market? I'm like, that's not their job. Do you not think that they watch the futures and CNBC and Fox Business? And of course they do. But technically, keeping the stock market up is not their job. I feel like I'm a skinnier and I have more gray hair, but I feel like I'm sitting in the board of trade in 2008, getting ready to go on the Options News Network and go, the Fed shouldn't get involved in anything because in the future, it's going to be a circular firing squad. That day has arrived. Even if Jerome Powell this afternoon says, what are you, all high? I'm going to make you higher. I think it's about to get very, very ugly. So that's just Jerome Powell, folks. That's just the Fed and what they're going to try and do, right? Tell banks to start loaning more and add more liquidity. And we're going to buy some. They're starting to look a little panicked. I told you last week, and there goes the S&P 500. I'm telling you, we are going to implode. This is going to happen, especially with the S&P 500 crossing the 50-day moving average is called a Hindenburg cross. If you let your booger eaters build all your black box algorithmic stuff, this is a sell signal right now. This is going to get very ugly. What did I say the other day? These things, we haven't had a smash through the 50 yet. As I'm talking, I would be buying puts with both hands on the S&P 500 and getting long the VIX. Has the Fed lost control? Yep. Now, I haven't even transitioned over to here comes drunk Nancy, Chuck, and crazy Uncle Joe with 1.9 trillion. With the Fed doing everything that they're doing and the government doing everything they shouldn't be doing, this is getting nuclear hot. we're starting to see it hit the macroeconomic data. Inflation, even though it's been dead for years, is starting to get a pulse. Even the hint of a pulse has freaked the market the hell out this week, not last week. That was a lot of profit taking. We're using the bonds as the excuse, the treasuries, all that type of crap to go, well, that's now math is going to matter. I expect 10 to 20%. I think a bear market is coming. I told you this, guys. I told you back in October. I said we will have a depression most likely under Joe Biden. The market will implode. We have been in full afterburner for a year in this market. As my buddies have closed restaurants, waitresses don't have jobs, 50 million Americans are out of work. Half of those will never come back to the workforce. I don't know what they do. Remember, I predicted this time last year, like civil unrest. I'm like, this stock market keeps going up and people see that and they're sitting here eating dog food. Lock your doors, get guns. I told you to do this. This is happening just as I predicted. Jan, I do not think we get a relief rally before the crash. You've had the relief rally, folks. You've had a year of this. You've had a year of pizza review guys going, markets only go up. They don't. And when they go down, it's violent. We have a crash coming. I was right about this. Math will matter. The economy's down here, the stock market's up here. That does not go on forever, guys. And what happens is the market starts to realize, as we've predicted, hence the Fred Sanford analogy. Look at the S&P just melting lower. I'm telling you, this is going on. I should stop talking and go load up on the puts like I'm tech's getting destroyed. Folks, this is it. When I heard either Mohamed El-Arian last week go, has the Fed lost control? I'm like, holy shit. It's like saying the F word in church. Once you say it, it's out there. The fact that the market is starting to go, I don't know if the Fed relief rallies are based on what, folks? Relief. Hey, the Fed's going to be here. Right now, the Fed looks panicked. When we have market participants going, holy shit, what if he doesn't announce more QE today? Ha ha ha. You will be at the 200-day moving average in the blink of an eye. So if you're Jerome Powell getting ready for your Wall Street interview this morning and you're eating breakfast and your advisors are going, holy shit, man, they're expecting more hopium at noon today. We're not doing that. The market is going to freak the hell out. I told you, man. I warned you. I told you I was like the crazy guy on the exit ramp of I-95. I'm like, the end is near. That dude's going to be right one day. I told you this is going to happen. You can't have a stock market go like this and the macroeconomic data go into the shitter. It's physically possible and it's physically impossible. I've been through this, guys. I've seen about 4 or 5 of these cycles where you got poor people eating cat food and the stock market going to the roof. And they always come back to meat. Scott, at 100% cash, looking at puts now. Good job, guys. I'm not. I'm getting effing destroyed. I failed. I failed February. I'll show you the good and the bad. Here's one of my personal accounts is underwater by like $200,000. Oh, this one's 59. This one's down like 200. I'm down $250,000. Why? Because I figured that math would save the good names. I still believe that, or I'd eject out of all of these, right? If you're looking at the stock market crashing and the economy sucking and these both sucking together, hello, Joe Biden and Kamala, it'll be Trump's fault. You want to be in names that make money. So I have no problems being down $250,000. Why? Because Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, I hate Tesla, aren't going out of business. Elon Musk needs to wake the F up. So, all right, let me go through some of these real quick because I'm on a rant. Does the 1.9 trillion pass? Does it already postpone this? No, folks, it's already built in. How do I know it was already built in, Wiz? Did you not sit here with me? Here is your $1.9 trillion. It was the relief, quote, rally after the election. Holy shit, not only did they win the House and the Senate, keep the Senate, barely kept the House. They have the White House. Oh, and by the way, Georgia, This, ladies and gentlemen, is your 1.9 trillion rally. Why? I told you this in November. I'm like, well, the market's saying Joe, Nancy, Chuck are going to spend like drunken sailors. You already had your 1.9 trillion rally, folks. This, most likely, is the one where it's going to sell on the news. It already stinks. I don't care if Nancy and Chuck took their pork projects out. It's full of shit. Planned Parenthood bailing out Harvard, bailing out unions, bailing out blue shithole states that can't pass a budget, that promise their pensions. You can retire at age 30 with full pension. That's mathematically impossible. Well, we're going to say we're going to do that because we need Democrat votes. Celia, I believe it's already in here. We're starting to get into Vietnamish right now. We've had this rip your face off rally. MGM is priced higher than the COVID crash. What? Exactly. Carnival Cruise Lines priced like COVID's never happened. So remember, folks, the stock market is a sine wave. It's almost like the airlines. You ready for this? As an airline pilot back in the day, airlines hire until they furlough. And then they furlough until they hire. The stock market and the economy are out of sync, a sine wave or whatever it is. Okay? Ted, what about all the extra unemployment money? Won't that continued government relief keep things going for a while? No, it won't. What did they get? Like $600 6 months ago, and now here's your measly $1,400. It's an absolute effing disgrace. It's a drop in the bucket, folks. I predicted and was right with the market's going to have COVID fatigue and we're going to rip higher. Nailed it. Right now, we have bailout fatigue. That's why some Democrats, Sinema and even Manchin and the Republicans are like, we don't need this right now. Why don't we take a little bit of a pause and let the 1 trillion we already tried to pump in? Nope. Planned Parenthood needs money to kill more unborn children. Duh, you racist, Dr. Zeus lover. Jeff, you got it. It's almost Fed fatigue. Yep. Werner, I cannot imagine that Powell will break the neck of the new administration. Werner, technically, Jerome Powell shouldn't care. He doesn't care. You met Werner wrong, with all due respect. How many times did Donald Trump take to Twitter and go, the Fed chief sucks. We need zero interest rates right now and more quantitative easing. Don't we remember Donald Trump saying this? I'm like, another thing I hated about Trump. He used to, you praise in public and you chastise in private. That dude was an idiot. He had no filter and he ripped people apart in public. I'm like, if only the guy who hired the Fed chair could do something about him, like firing him. Oh, that's right. You're just a narcissist. You just like to tear people down in public. So Werner, no. Jerome Powell technically does not care who's in the office. He has 2 charters. Now, over a beer, we can talk about what? The wealth effect. If Jerome Powell, I'm just pulling my levers on inflation and full employment, looks over at CNBC and sees the Dow down 5,000 points and holy shit, guess what? When your 401k is a 201k, you sit there and go, I ain't spending. Holy shit. I need to go to cash. I'm digging a hole in the yard and putting my money in a Folgers can. He doesn't like that. He needs you. He needs a what's called wealth effect, right? Bullish burner trade on VXX. Not a bad idea. Arthur, do we get out of synthetic stock now? I don't know. I don't know who we are. I'm not touching any of my longs. I'm moving cash around from my business to get in and buy. Not right now. Actually, no, I am to buy puts and get long volatility. I am not buying. I'm not bottom feeding right now. Absolutely not. So Arthur, you have to ask yourself, why did I get into this synthetic stock? And is it a good name? Is it going to weather? See, I love saying this stuff, folks. I love this shit. Meditating, my hot yoga, I can see the matrix. Math will matter. So it feels like shit's getting hammered right now. Out of this dust will rise the phoenix, the phenai. The phenai are what? The mats. Drop Tesla off of it. Who makes money? Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. Who doesn't? A fucking airline and a cruise company do not make money, and their stocks are up here. If you believe anything that I'm saying, get ready to pound those into the dirt. We are doing the reverse of last March. Remember all the smart money? Oh my God, we're gonna retest the March lows. I'm like, no, we're not. Did you not hear the Fed? Now we're in reverse March. I think we're gonna get slammed. Do I want to be wrong? To the tune of $250,000 in my two portfolios down? Yeah, I do. I'm not. Wiz, you will be on the right side. Powell will not pull the plug of the new admin. Where can we hide? Gold and silver getting hit hard too. Ray, what did I tell you? And it's funny with the Bitcoin Scientology people. It's going to ignore the market. You're an idiot if you believe that. When you get these type of stock market up, economy down, but we're going to meet, no asset class is safe. The only thing that's safe is long volatility and puts on the rut S&P or the Dow. Gold, silver, folks, matter of fact, crypto is going to get hammered even more. Right? How about if what I'm saying happens at 3:00 tonight or this afternoon or tomorrow, or whenever as this thing starts to implode? Hello, this is Steve calling from E-Trade. We need $100,000 in your account. What are you talking about? I'm just a small retail trader. Well, we're going to liquidate all your positions at the market. I'm sorry, at the bid or the offer, whatever. So people are going to be liquidating their crypto or liquidating this. I'm telling you guys, I talked to you the other day about this, especially the ETFs. You don't want to be in an ETF, man, because as things start to implode, you can't get out of it. Scott, the cutoff for stimulus checks is a lot lower this round, so less people are getting money. Bullseye. Richard, you still have the problem of not paying rent. Thank you for bringing that up, Richard, because how many times in the past couple weeks have I said that? I'm like, I'm a little confused right now that the market's not paying attention to this. And I should have punched myself in the face to remind me that the market only cares when, say it with me, when it cares. And this is one of those times where the market gets slammed and the financial media is finally going to go, oh, yeah, because millions and millions of Americans aren't paying their rent and so aren't businesses. I'm like, oh, now you care. I've been sitting here kind of stewing like, when's it going to care? It will. Very good point. Good job, Richard. Werner, I believe there is no room for higher interest rates anywhere, at least the U.S. government or Europe. Guys, listen to me. One of the reasons Joe effing dementia Biden has said we need to spend like just now we got to go big is because interest rates are low. I used to do this math years ago, and now it bores me because, first of all, it makes me sick, and second of all, it bores me. I think right now, based on our how many 20, I even know how much debt we're in, which is a disgrace. If somebody maybe Google this, somebody's done the math, I guarantee you, or I can reach out to one of my buddies. If interest rates go up even a quarter of a basis point, I think right now we add another like $100 billion to our deficit. Remember this, folks. Math will matter. Down the road, look at under Barack Hussein Obama in 2013, what happened? Moody's and S&P credit rating agencies looked at the United States debt and said, you guys are you deserve an F, but we took away Standard & Poor's took away their AAA credit rating from the United States of America. Moody's was about to do it until the racist Attorney General, Eric Holder, that piece of shit, picked up the phone and said, Moody's, if you do that, we're going to look into everything that you did in the financial crisis. And by the way, S&P, we're actually going to do that with you. Thug Chicago politics. Let me clean up more of these and then we got to talk. Ray, the government Fed is not going to save us. Perhaps the market is starting to wake up to the fact. Yep. Thomas, SDS is good if market drops, correct? Yep. I don't trade the triple stuff anymore. Greg, cash now, powder dry, SPX and VIX only. Done. This is last February, guys. I feel like Paul Revere again. They still have $1 trillion from the first stimulus. Exactly. Short the dollar, Doug. The Fed has built a house of cards, and now it's windy. People are afraid of not just inflation, but hyperinflation. Very good point. The crack up boom is coming to an end. Dave just sold Microsoft, Amazon, CSX, and SLV. Bought a ton of volatility. All right, Dave. James, 0.25% on 20 trillion is 50 billion. Thank you, James. I was at 100. Good. That's good math. Dave, as this crashes, China is going to jump in and short the market. If you don't think that Xi Jinping the first shot was fired earlier in the week, folks. What did I tell you? The head of China's banking whatever it was, said, "We're very concerned about U.S. equities." What? That, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, good night, try the veal. Bob, good transition. I love, you guys are awesome. I love Top Gun Options. I love all you guys, gals, and non-gender specific binary whoever's. I love how Democrats and liberals say, embrace the science. I'm like, you mean the science of a chromosome and two of them? That science? Oh, your science about what the weather's going to be in 300 years? Oh, that science? But you can't tell me how many genders there are and when life begins, but I'm going to listen to your science. So, Bob, good transition point. All of this might be bullshit. So let me red team my brief. Wiz, everything you said is in fact true. Math matters. The economy and the stock market can't keep flying, going into combat spread without a midair. That's also true. Everything I have said is true. I do not know what's going to happen at 12:05. Do we have Fed fatigue? But here, I want you to take the first 24 minutes of this brief and file it. Write it down, put it on your yellow stickies, and hang it from your desk lamp or whatever. Because if it's not this time, it will be a time. I failed miserably in February. Stupid MFer. If I was in 80-20 cash right now, I'd be doing the happiest dance in the world. I didn't listen to me. I thought this time would be different. All the other Februaries, we didn't have Jerome, Janet, Democrats. This time we do. Smash. Okay, you idiot. So the red team to this we're going to crash is, even though that's all right, Wiz, we're just going to kind of put that over in a box over here. We're not going to pay attention to that right now. The market only cares when it cares. Yep. We're not caring right now. Good brief, Wiz. Hopium. I don't know. I did my yoga this morning. I didn't even listen to my minutes of the call. I don't care at this point. I care about me and you. So you have two choices. Well, the first choice is I'm not doing anything. I am trying to move some money around in case I'm right. Remember, when something starts, this was last February, man. I'm like, we nailed it to the day. And then within a half a day, when our last February full throttle, January 22nd, I nailed it to the day. Boom. And then it kind of recovered a little bit. And then we did a full throttle February, like 7th, 12th, whatever it was. And then I'm like, oh, out. Not out, actually in. Why am I saying that? Because if I'm waiting a little bit for confirmation, it's okay. How many times have you seen, or last February, if you were here, I'd buy as the thing imploded. I'm like buying puts at the offer. Oh, well, you're losing. No, I didn't lose money because as soon as I got filled, the thing went down another 20 points. And look at that. It's already up 10, 15 grand. You can pound something into the dirt. If you want to be early before 12:05, great. You can. Get that stuff on now. But remember, quick discussion, and we'll save most of this for full throttle week, whatever. The difference between a hedge, a tredge, and a trade. Right now, I have failed. Technically, everything we have is hedged in an options position. I ain't selling naked or cash secured puts, which technically isn't. All of our spreads, the synthetic stock has disaster puts. We're all good. I mean, underneath my long stock positions, I don't have puts. I could have done what's called a collar, right? I could have taken the 35 grand in credit that I brought in this week and bought puts underneath some of those names. I didn't. Mainly because I'm fine with those names. They have protective puts in and of themselves, unless you're Tesla, which I'm an idiot to have gotten into. I get it. I still am making the transition from it's worth $90 as a car company to it's an Elon Musk company. I thought I had that right. I'm in therapy right now. I got a Tesla bull, and the dude is keeping me on the crack pipe. Every day I go back and look at my little scrap paper, which was my trade thing, about why I got into it. Okay. So, Wiz, the most dangerous game is to squeeze U.S. economy with higher interest and let Xi step in to destabilize the U.S. dollar. Dangerous when the U.S. Guys, this is all swirling around. John, this is a great question, John. What could he say for the markets to go up? The first thing I have to say, John, is that I still have some old me. I still have some pre-2009 stink on me, even though I got rid of 99.9% of my books. I still have some stink that makes me laugh at that question. What could he say for the market to go up? That's not his fucking job. That's old Wiz in the board of trade going, what? I felt like I was on Wiz Island at the Options News Network. I'm like, where? Here's his charter. That's not in his job description. Now let me get to today, Wiz. Namaste. It's a great question, John, because old me is furious at that question. New me's like, good question. New me is also going to tell you, I think what he's going to say, if it's Operation Twist or I'm going to start doing the bond purchases again, I got to be honest, between us ladies, I think that's already in there. This is why I had to race back, and I actually had to patronize a company that I hate because I couldn't go to my normal place and get my coffee because I'm like, holy shit, I got to get home and get on this debrief. I think, John, it's in here. When you deal with a bunch of freaking heroin addicts and you keep giving them methadone, we're sitting here going, you better give us some more methadone or we're going to go into full body convulsions and scratch our face off. Folks, I mean, I could have wasted 30 minutes of your time this morning. And at 12:05, Jerome Powell goes, I'm buying a shitload of treasuries, selling these, Operation Twist. I'm going, you think we've been an afterburner for the past year? I'm hitting the hyperspace button and the Dow goes up 1,000 points. I don't feel that, John, is what I'm saying. In the stillness of my meditation, I'm like, my heart's palpitating like what's his name? Does that make sense? John, I'm in the now. Good for you. John Newcomb, report from Aria, buying puts with both hands, Sands is selling. Ooh. We have to deal with China. Xi does not have to raise interest. If the West does, we are shot. Yep. John, calm down, brother. LOL. I'm actually pretty calm. There's a difference between, I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about what I do. So this is passion. This isn't, I don't give a shit. My portfolio can go down another $500,000. Why? I don't care. You're telling me that I need to get out of Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple? Don't get me started with Tesla. They're fine. I will get back to, if I freaked you the hell out in the past 31 minutes, you're trading too big, right? And you haven't been kind of trudging or hedging as we've gone along. Does that make sense? What are my very wealthy friends saying? You know what's funny, Thomas, is my very wealthy friends call me and ask for this stuff. So driving back from yoga, I actually talked to a very wealthy, well, he runs a family office. And I gave him what I just said. He's like, you suck. I'm like, I can be wrong, man. Leonard, it doesn't matter. So Leonard, I appreciate the red team. Leonard says, red team, will states reopening economies make a difference? Leonard, that's already happened in the stock market. Folks, last March to today, the market has acted like what? Everything's fine. Everything's reopened. We have a vaccine. Now that states are reopening and we're going through a vaccine, it's a sell the news event, Leonard, in my opinion. I started telling this whole brief with what? Markets look where? Forward. Last March, the market picked up its binoculars and said, first of all, this is a plandemic. It's bullshit. We're going to get through it. Everything goes up. Now that we're actually getting to it, this is the biggest buy the rumor, sell the news event that could be possible. We do not need another 1.9 trillion thrown into everything on our balance sheet. The economy, while shitty, is primed for overheating. If you're an aviator, you've heard, or even even if you didn't fly jets, a prop plane, you can have what's called a hot start. You sit there, you're cranking the motor, you're dumping fuel into the motor, and you've dumped too much fuel, and then you try to ignite it. Either you get a boom, or it's called a wet start or a hot start. Thomas, I just got rid of everything and feel good for the first time in a month. Doesn't that feel good? I'm telling you, I suck. If I was 80% cash right now, I would be laughing. I'd be like, burn, baby, burn. Actually, technically, right now, I am doing that. I'm saying burn, baby, burn, and I'm going to lose. Well, my portfolios will take a hit. I don't care. They're going to come back. All right, let me clean up a little bit more stuff. Then we have to talk tactics because people are asking, Scott, how long would you go out on your puts? Folks, if what I'm saying, if the chickens are going to come home to roost, it's going to be sooner rather than later. Okay? That's why technical analysis is stupid bullshit. Where's my technical analysis, guys, to tell me anything? If anything, I already told you technical analysis-wise what's going to happen. I did this the other day. What did I do? I drew 3850 right here and then a descending bearish pennant. I said, we're going to break out. You break out of a pennant, and it either does that or it does that. Yesterday, I said what? I'm a 7 delta that Jerome is going to kiss our boo-boos, and this time, right? And a 30% that we do that. Whew. I think I'm about to switch. I think I'm about a 70% that's going to happen, and a 30% that the market says yay. That's a big switch, folks. I told you to sit up and listen to me today. I could be wrong. Listen to me. This is one of those times, whether it's bombing North Korea or this or whatever, I'm like, I want to be wrong on this. I don't feel it. Let me clean up a couple more. So, Scott, to answer your question, it's going to be sooner rather than later. And we know that these things, if it is going to happen, are violent. So maybe this type of bullshit before we kind of recover. Folks, Jerome Powell does not want a 10, 20% correction in the market. It doesn't matter what Jerome Powell wants. It's what happens in the market. Are we getting to the point where the market looks at Jerome Powell going way outside his charter and going, holy shit, he did that at the height of the COVID crash. I told you, I know for a fact, the New York Fed was buying equities. Does the government, does Uncle Sammy, does Jerome step in if we do see a shit show and go, I'm buying Microsoft? It could happen. Werner, that could be a nice catalyst to the upside. Infrastructure spending, Joe Biden. Now that I just wasted another 1.9 trillion and Jerome's doing all his shit, here comes 2 trillion in infrastructure spending. Yeesh. Nelson, me, all gone. Thomas, 100% cash. Hot starts happen on the L1011s. Now you're dating yourself. It is a perfect head and shoulders. Rick, loading up on SPX March 12, 3,800, 37.95 puts. Okay. 20% down off 39.50 would be the 3,200 area. Folks, if you believe anything that I'm saying, it might be best to buy puts down at the 200-day moving average. I can't even believe I'm talking like this. But guys, again, I sat here for months and said, we do not hover over a moving average like this for this long. I've never seen it. Come on, did you think that was going to keep happening? We're just going to keep hovering over the moving average? No. This might be the excuse for the market to take the Fred Sanford. And if it happens, it's going to be violent. Werner, good for you. Werner saying I'm still taking the 70% is going to go up. I want that, Werner. I am failing in my job if, as your flight instructor, I don't point out, here's a freaking surface-to-air missile base, and it's active. We might not take the flight path that gets us to that today on today's mission. It's still out there and it still needs to be dealt with. So, folks, at the end of the day, this is the ultimate, if I can draw it. We are going to, if the chickens don't come home to roost, take this brief and listen to it over the next couple months, because this can is going to be kicked down here for the last time, or not for the last time. The stock market is not the economy. The economy's down here, the stock market's up here. That's a delta that has to, never in the history of my 30 years has that not happened. I remember drawing this shit before, or being in whiteboards in Chicago, like, hey man, those two diverging lines meet. And when they meet, it's violent. Okay? This was going to be a quick debrief. Last night, I'm like, it's all on Jerome today. And then I'm telling you, this morning in my meditation, in the silence of my mind, this shit comes to me. In my downward dog, actually, no, I was about to die. In my royal pigeon, or my final Shavasana, this shit came to me like a flow. I'm like, stock market economy. The stock market has been living in the future. It needs to be present. Namaste. So, I feel like, what's his name? Joe Pesci and my cousin Vinny. What was his name? Victor, whatever. I love my cousin Vinny. That was one of my dad's favorite movies. He would literally laugh out loud with that movie. So, you ready for this? I'm going to use a My Cousin Vinny line. After the prosecutor got up and made his case, my cousin Vincent, yeah, that's his name, my cousin Vinny, Vincent got up and said, he looked at the jury, he's like, everything that guy just said is bullshit, and sat down. So I'm going to be bipolar right now and say, everything that I just said could be bullshit. For the folks that all just went to cash, doesn't that feel good? I still feel good, even though I'm getting destroyed. I feel fine. Old me most likely wouldn't be feeling fine right now. Old me would be still be stewing that you didn't listen to you in February and say, get to cash, jerk. And to be honest with you, when I said 80-20 back then, I was even going to myself, I'm like, no, get out of Amazon too. It's going to get hammered. Math will matter eventually, but it's not mattering right now. Okay? So everything I just said could be bullshit. The two Utes, exactly. I understand, Wiz, but the economy has to get steamed up. Infrastructure projects throughout the USA, that's huge. Werner, so let's talk through that. Two, remember George Bush, what Donald Trump and the Democrats, before Nancy and him couldn't even be in the same room, agreed. The Democrats went to the White House expecting $1 trillion. They came out with a stunned look on their face and they're like, Trump added $1 trillion. They were shocked. So now they laid down a marker. Well, under Trump, we were going to get $2 trillion. Now under Joe, it'll be 3. Werner, to your point, let's use bizarro market thinking. To your point, that should be a stimulus for the economy. Guys, listen to what I'm saying. 1 trillion in December, 1.9 trillion now. Jerome Powell. Massive nuclear explosions. 2 trillion, let's go conservative. 2 trillion in infrastructure spending. Ladies and gentlemen, all the math I just pontificated upon isn't an afterburner. It's a Saturn V rocket. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the economy does this Saturn V rocket, the stock market will implode. What? You heard me. If we have a Saturn V, now these lines are reversed. If we have a Saturn V economy, Jerome Powell is going to be like, holy shit, shielding his eyes from the nuclear blast and raising interest rates. Our debt's going to go through the roof. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. So, folks, you have got to change your thinking a little bit. Don't think that massive government spending, while good for the economy, is good for the stock market. You're broken. You're not thinking right. I'm telling you for a fact. This is not my first rodeo. Hang on a second. Because I'm going to send this out as a sit rep to everybody. And in the past 2 days, the sit rep hasn't fired, which is annoying. Hang on. Because I've made some good sit reps. Okay. All right. Hold on. We got to get tactical in a second. This lady doing my refinancing of my house is effing annoying. Here's a perfect example, folks. I have more money in my checking account than I'm refinancing this house for, and it's literally taking an act of God. How annoying! Whatever. Okay. Now let's get tactical. To Scott, well, I already told you tactical. What would I be doing? I'd be buying puts a month out on down here at the 200-day moving average. We know this isn't looking good, folks. Yeah, talk about a perfect head and shoulders pattern. That computer's going to run out of juice. Guys, I get it. The market bounced off the bottom from like an hour ago and is kind of recovering. We're not even back to where we opened, I don't think, or maybe we are. I'm not sitting here SPX day trading with you. I'm talking strategy, man. You need to go out 30 days from now and buy puts at the 200-day moving average. If this happens, you're going to print money. If it doesn't happen and you're pissed that you didn't make any money, you're an idiot. Listen to me. Do not buy puts down here if you're going to look at those as losing money. You're buying them for the wrong reason. If you buy puts down here and they go out worthless and you go, whew, that means this happened. There's a difference between a hedge, a trudge, and a trade. If you don't know the difference between those, you haven't been here long enough and you need to go to full throttle training. Give me a vertical head nod that you understand that. I don't want to see one word in the chat box if you go out a month and buy puts at the 200-day moving average and you're like, Wiz, I lost money on those. You did? Then you were in them for the wrong reason. Give me a vertical head nod and understand and acknowledge that. Kevin, instead of a month out, month end March, in case there's a bounce at the beginning of the month, yeah, you can do that. Thomas, the 200-day is down here at 30. Just go round numbers, 3,500. All right, a couple more questions, and I got to go because I have a ton of stuff that I need to move around and buy some puts and shit. Let me scroll up, and I'll clean up some questions. If you have anything, let me know. Feels good, liquidated some stock. What a fucking nightmare. Oh, my favorite line, exactly. Would you care what the color pants were wearing if the guy blew your head off? Werner, every correct what you say. Still, infrastructure is creating real value that lasts decades, different to bailouts and evaporates instantly. Werner, you just said decades. I might not be here in a decade. God willing, I am. Nobody cares about value decades from now. This is a stock market that cares about what's happening at 12:05 today. I get it, man. Building bridges, putting dudes back to work and concrete and rebar and railroads and runways is good for, you're missing the point, man. Is good for what? The economy. For the 90th time in this brief, I'm going to tell you that the stock market is not the economy. Period. Did you check SPX? I don't know what that means. Jeff and my daughter had a new job, just graduated college and no money down and bought a 200K house in October. They practically threw it at her. Oh my God, that makes sense. Contrary to what you say, they will whine. Exactly. Michael, quick explanation of a trudge, please. Shit, man. You guys got to watch. If you're new, Mike, you're clearly new. This is a longer discussion, but I will. You ready? They're on a trade. You want to make money. Guys, if you're new here, you got to watch replays of stuff. I've gone through this numerous times, but I will do this because today it is needed, especially for the new folks. When you place a trade, you want what to happen? For it to make money. I don't place trades that I want to lose money, right? Trade, that's pretty easy. Let's move on. A hedge, ladies and gentlemen, I want to lose money. What did that guy just say? You heard me. I'll say it again. With a hedge, I want to lose money. I have a tech-heavy portfolio right now. Almost I have about $2 million in open positions that are concentrated in the MATs. Holy shit, man. I want to protect myself in case they pull back 20%. I'm going to go buy some puts on the, I don't know, the ETF for the XLK, the technology ETF, or I'm going to buy puts underneath under Microsoft and stuff like that. Those would be called what? Hedges. If I buy puts underneath my tech names and they go out worthless, I buy $10,000 worth of puts underneath Microsoft, let's say. I don't want those puts to make money, guys. I want to lose the 10 grand. Because if I do, quote, lose 10 grand, that meant Microsoft just was okay. It's insurance. If you're the type of person that sits at your kitchen table every month and goes, I'm losing money on my auto, home, and life insurance with USAA. This sucks. You're an idiot. I don't even write a check every month to USAA. It's on auto debit. So a hedge, you want to lose money. If your hedge prints money, your longs are getting hammered. Okay? Now, there's a combination between both of those called a tredge. It's a trade where I go, I think it's going to make money, man, and also can serve as a hedge to your portfolio. Here's an example of a tredge right now. If I go out 30 days from now and buy puts on the S&P 500 down at the 200-day moving average, I actually, after this brief, after 49 minutes of talking through it, the chickens are coming home to roost. If it isn't this time, it's coming. The end is near for this monster rally off the bottom. Looking at MGM, Delta Airlines, and all sorts of other, quote, reopening trades, they have zipped past the COVID thing. The airlines are hemorrhaging billions of dollars a day. And their stock price is going to keep going up? No. So you could place what I call a tredge, a trade that you think is going to make some good money, but is also going to protect some of your other stuff. That is what is called a tredge. There's a trade at Topcon Options, there's a hedge at Topcon Options, and there's a tredge. That's as brief as I could make it. All right, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and I got to go. Will FXI get hit too? Yep. Thomas, open interest on SPY at the 350 is 54,000. Wow. I would look at that. Lawrence, I will take a short-term $100,000 gain from longs to lose 10K in my hedge any day. You get it, Lawrence. Time to burn the car and wreck the house so we can make a claim. Exactly. Wiz, if I buy April 3,500 puts and SPX move up, I can still turn it into a bull put spread, correct, by selling? Yes. Guys, you could go out right now a month and buy puts on the S&P 500 out here. Buy the 3,500 SPX puts. And that happens. You turn it into what? A bull put spread. So right now, if you're looking to do this, go out and buy them as a hedge. Wiz, you were wrong. Haha, good. I'm making money if I'm wrong. Turn it into a bull put spread. So yeah, you can kind of leg into a bull put spread, so to speak. Okay? Good question, and absolutely yes. I didn't cover that, so I'm glad you caught that. Yeah, turn it into a bull put spread. Turn it into something that makes money. Okay? Very good stuff. I got to go. This is going to be a busy day. I got a bunch of phone calls. I'm going to be watching the brief with the Wall Street Journal thing with a bunch of folks. Remember, the initial reaction out of the market is 99.9% of the time wrong. Don't listen to Jerome and see how the market reacts and then just believe that. First of all, don't do anything. I'm watching for sport. This is a popcorn moment. And usually it takes 24 hours for the market to kind of digest what the dude said. And tomorrow's a Friday, and then we get the weekend. Look what happened after last week. I told you this would happen. Jerome spoke. Oh, rates are all over. We're all dying. I'm like, we need the weekend to digest what the guy said. We did. Monday, 700 points. I'm like, ooh, that's not. Sell into that. Everybody should have listened to me on Monday and sold into that pop. Now, we'll see what happens. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't even bring that up. Tomorrow morning, folks, is what? Non-farm payroll. Are we in bizarro market? Holy shit, the jobs number's awful. Good. That means Jerome's got to do stuff. If you do not think that Jerome Powell knows what the jobs number is tomorrow morning, you're a fool. He absolutely is showing up at noon today going, holy crap, either holy crap for tomorrow or we're okay for tomorrow. Another important question, are individuals already informed about what Powell will inform about and market will react beforehand? Of course, Werner. This little rally off the bottom could have been leaked. I've been paying attention to you. I've been paying attention to anything. Remember a couple of weeks ago before Jerome spoke, it was kind of leaked like, hey, they might talk about raising interest rates. So I don't know. Remember, folks, so we get, I told you I have a buddy that has a hedge fund that listens to news and reads news and trades off of it. So I wouldn't do anything. I've been recently fearing I may lose the pathetic remainder of my pension if things will end as this is looking at May. Karen, get some protection on, man. Market is heading for no man's land. It could be, Graham. We have not fought any dogfighting in here in way too long. Guys, let me finish with this. I don't want this to happen. And if I'm scaring you, you're trading too big, you're not meditating, you're not doing hot yoga, and your positions are too big. I don't want this to happen, man. I don't want to be right. I'd rather, to be honest with you, kick this massive can down the road so I can be better prepared for when it is going to happen if it doesn't happen now. I want to be wrong, guys. I should have said that first. In this brief, I hope everything that guy just said is bullshit. I don't know. I don't know, man. When I put the question mark on the screen yesterday and said, I don't know, that was it. Ray, and the market doesn't like hanging out in no man's land. Nobody lives in no man's land. So, Steve, why not put a put closer to 0.8 delta besides expensive? Up to you, man. Fly and fight your airplane. It doesn't. Goose, I sold winners and raised $100,000 in cash during the brief. I will be the first to admit I over-levered. I will try to do better too. There you go. Good stuff, Wiz. Thanks. You're welcome, Mark. Selling shorter-term puts against my longer term to create a spread. We'll do that for Monday, Wednesday, Friday expires to get some premium. You got it, man. Michael, glad to hear a pro is as lost as I am. Mike, I'm probably one of the only honest guys running around out there. You are a member here to hear my brain, not all of it because it would scare you. But no, these are the moments where this is where you make your money, guys. Any freaking idiot who could hit the broadside of a barn was making money. Now's when it gets interesting, right? And if we do decide to do this, I'll pound it into the effing dirt. We made millionaires this time last year, February and March, with a market implosion. So I would prefer that not to happen, but if it does, you trade the market you have, not the one you want. Right? That's about it. Loving it. Thank you. You're welcome, Mike. No, this is me. This is me, raw, uncut. I'm giving you my 2 cents. I want to be wrong. If loving me is wrong, I don't want to be right. All right, I got to go. Big day. The rest of the day, man. The only thing that's happening and the only thing that market cares about is Jerome. I would be stunned if he does not do what the market is expecting. It's over with. That's case one. Holy shit, Wiz. He didn't mention Operation Twist. The second scenario is he does talk about doing some smoking more crack, and the market's like, that ain't enough. I want some heroin. It's almost like I don't see what the upside is. So full throttle session 2 tonight, 7 p.m. We're going to be in go to training so we can all chat back and forth. So Paul just cleaned out the garage. Thanks. There you go. I suck, man. I might get rid of like all my Mara and get out of that Bitcoin shit to get my puts on. I got to maneuver some stuff today, man. I gotta get going here. This is just not. I failed, man. I sucked. My February sucked. Next year, you have full permission to punch me in the face if I go, I think this February will be different. An idiot. All right, I got to go. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. We'll debrief some of this tonight, man. We have to. I'm not just going to talk about calls and puts, basics, and full throttle. We got to debrief what Jerome said today. Because speaking about puts tonight, we might be needing a shitload of them. Or buying a shitload of upside puts on the S&P 500. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. I'll see you guys tonight. Namaste.